join in on this call. We have a lot of thank you support. Support, you have done a lot, oh. You've done a lot. So thank you, support. Okay, who is the woman that is ready to tell us who she is, what she does, and what she's about? Who you are, what you do, what you're about, your brand name. Just let us know you. Let us know what you do, what you're about. Who knows? Maybe me, like this, I'll patronize you. I will patronize you. Any woman here. So we have Felicia Joseph. All right. Felicia, I'm going to give you the floor while we wait for the second person. Fastest finger. Somebody should type, or else I'll call what's on my mind. I'll call whoever is on my mind right now. So Felicia Joseph, I'm giving you the floor. Please, let's hear you. Felicia Joseph, you said you are ready. And you gave me fire emoji. Purpose, you are typing. You've been typing since. What do you want to tell me? Okay, while we wait for Felicia Joseph, can we have leader Purpose have the floor? Purpose, the floor is open to you. Tell us who you are. Let us get to know you, what you're about, what you do. Market yourself. Sell yourself to us in the next 2 minutes.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Okay, Felicia is here. Good evening.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Sir Paul, for putting up this together, and of course, every speaker here. Okay, so my name is Felicia Joseph Chibuke. I'm currently a student at School of Pharmacy in Anambra, and I'm into video editing.
I can't hear you clearly. Hello?
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Okay, yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I'll just go right again. My name is Felicia Joseph Chibuke, and I'm a pharmacy student of Unizik, and I do video editing for short form video editing for brands and businesses.
Okay, that's amazing. A lady in tech. I mean, you do video editing. There are not a lot of, well, maybe now there are a lot of ladies that do it, but so far I know that it's not a thing that a lot of ladies would readily venture into. It takes a lot of mind, it takes a lot of heart, it takes a lot of focus. So that is amazing on your part for you to venture into that area, and we are glad that you could be bold enough to share it with us at this juncture. Ladies, and if there are any gentlemen in the house, I see you. Support told us that we're going to have a surprise guest. How many of us are aware? If you are aware, let me see your emoji. Oh, sorry, Felicia, network is giving you issues. Sorry about that. If you are aware that we are going to have a surprise guest tonight, let me just see your favorite emoji. If I don't see your favorite emoji, I'm not going to call up this guest because I know you don't know the person. You've seen all the other faces, but you've not seen this one. If you are aware and you are ready, let me see your favorite emoji in the chat room. And if you are excited, some people's favorite emojis very, very fine. Oh. Okay, so I will just quickly do a brief profile read of this amazing, phenomenal speaker that is coming to us as a surprise. His name is, we'll skip what his name is. He is a leader in his own right. He is a renowned banker and poet. He is the author of Remember Me, Black Child, and other poems. He wields a master's degree in business administration. He has a robust skill set that includes leadership, management, strategic planning, writing, public speaking, and more. He is the founder of the Writers Manger Network. I am pretty sure I have given it away already. This is a network that promotes creative writing and literacy. He ceaselessly contributes his quota of valuable insights to his industry of influence and, of course, to up and coming leaders generally. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as I call. Felicia already knows the person. Please put your hands together. I want to see the clap in the chat room. Please put your hands together as I bring up the phenomenal Sir 18 Book Iyang. Ladies and gentlemen, please. I'm not seeing your emojis. Welcome, sir. We're so glad to have you. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Mr. Paul just embodied the theme of this conference, emergency. So he brought me on here, as an emergency. And I didn't plan to be here. I wasn't even meant to be here, but since it's an emergency, I had to oblige. Thank you very much for having me. I'm grateful to God for his mercy and grace for giving me this opportunity to speak here. And thank you, Mr. Paul, for putting this together. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Living Praise Atan. I've actually heard so much about you, how well you can sing and all of that. So it's great to, be on here. So I have a very brief charge, to share with us at this time. And I believe that we are going to be very much inspired. It's a very beautiful thing, and it's a big thing to bring women, young women, older women together,
Thank you, sir.
And then speak to them. So I just want to share something briefly with us before I jump off. And I want to bring a parallel, between the woman and the butterfly. The woman and the butterfly. So we find out that a woman undergoes different seasons in her life. A woman, just as the butterfly, will undergo different seasons in her life. So in elementary biology, in elementary science, when we had science, integrated science, we were meant to understand the different stages of metamorphosis of different insects, that we have in the world. So the very first stage of the butterfly, and I just want you to follow me gently as we build this. The very first stage in the metamorphosis of a butterfly is the egg stage, where the butterfly is still in the egg stage. And then the next stage is the larva stage, where the butterfly begins to have some kind of form. And after that, the butterfly goes on to the pupa, where the form and the figure and the transfiguration begins to set in. And then there is a final stage for the butterfly, when the butterfly becomes a full-blown adult. It is the same thing with a woman. When you are an egg in the belly of your mother, and then you begin to form, you begin to develop hands, you begin to develop legs, you begin to develop eyes, and then you become a being that is birthed. When you are born, you are a baby, and then you begin to grow until you become an adult. Everybody loves colorful butterflies, and then everybody would want to catch them for keeps. The woman goes through several stages. The very first battle that a woman will fight is the changes in her nature and the physiological composition of the woman. And then comes one of the most important battles that every woman has to fight, and that is the emotional battles. It is at this point that a lot of people get to miss it on their journey. So we have to understand that when the butterfly goes through these different stages of metamorphosis and then becomes an adult, has wings and beautiful colors, everybody will stretch their hands to catch this butterfly. So there are many times that a woman will get to that point where she is caged emotionally. And these are part of the things, these are part of the issues that stop a lot of women from soaring high. These are part of the things that clip the wings of a lot of people and stop them from flying. To navigate the storms of life, for you to get to that point where we can say that you have truly emerged, it requires a lot of skill and wisdom. It requires a lot of determination for you to actually rise from the ashes. There are a lot of young women today with a lot of gifts, with many gifts today, but they have buried their gifts because their wings have been clipped. And I believe that it is important for us to understand that none of us was born to this world empty. We all came with something. We all came with a gift and a talent. And I believe that is why this conference has been put together, to let you understand that you need to rise from whatever thing is clipping you. So at this time, it may be an emotional clip that has clipped your wings, oh woman, as a butterfly, and has stopped you from soaring, and has stopped you from spreading your wings to fly. You have to stand up from it. That is why this conference is start an emergency. It is an emergency because there are a lot of young women who have resigned themselves to fate, who have told themselves, I am good for nothing. You have to stand up from that place and know that you were sent here with something. So just as the butterfly, when he begins to have wings and begins to fly and begins to show different colors, that is how a full-blown woman becomes. And different forces, different things will stretch forth their hands to stop the flight of this woman. So you have to acquire a lot of skill and wisdom to be able to emerge, to be able to rise from the shackles, to be able to rise up and become all that you have been sent to become. I will leave you shortly with this question. Where have you buried your gift? Where have you buried your treasure? Has anyone told you that whatever thing you have is not good enough? I came as a matter of urgency and as a matter of emergency to tell you that when the butterfly is still an egg, no one sees it, no one desires it. But that butterfly has to have the determination that it must become an adult butterfly with wings, with colors to fly across the different parts of the earth. So, where have you buried your treasure? The tragedy of our time is that a lot of people have treasures, but they do not believe in it. They do not trust in that fickle gift that is in their heart. They do not trust in that candlelight. When we were young, there's a song we used to sing, This Little Light of Mine, I'm gonna let it shine. So, this little light of mine, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, oh, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. So that little light, that spark that is in you, has the potential of becoming an inferno. That little talent that you have despised for so long has the potential of making you to become that beautiful butterfly that will be sought after by everyone. Yes, there are storms. Yes, there are challenges. Yes, there are a lot of emotional, psychological, physiological battles that seek to cage the woman. But the time has come for that woman to dig up that gift, to bring forth that light and begin to shine. The tragedy, however, in our time is that a lot of people do not believe in what they carry and then they allow it to die, to lie dormant. It is time for you to water your gift again. It is time for you to allow that your light to shine. I will read you a poem that I wrote some time ago and I will close with this. The title of this poem is Womanism. And it says, a woman is seldom celebrated and banished to silence and the compulsion of duty. A woman rises and slumbers with visions of the tomorrow of her kith and kin. A woman is like the clouds, unfledging in sun and storm. A woman's voice is the leading light of generations. A woman is the thorn that scares fingers from the rose, and the rose that adds beauty to the thorns. A woman is like the palm wine tapper's rope, unsure as to the appearance, but is the bridge between here and there. A woman is like a melodious poem, too beautiful, too enchanting to ignore. So I call on all women here to understand that you were created in the image and likeness of God and you were sent forth to become. So the time for you to emerge is now as the butterfly moves from the egg to the larva to the pupa to the full-blown adult. You have to emerge, you have to metamorphose and become all that you were created to be. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm indeed honored. And I pray that all of us will emerge to become all that we have been created to be. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Living Praise. Thank you, everyone, for having me.
Thank you so much, sir. Wow, that was an amazing session. If it was an amazing session, please just let me know in the chat box. Wow, wow, wow. Dear woman, you are a butterfly. You are, there's so much in you, so much in you. That thing that you want to just put away, that potential you don't want to maximize. It is time to water your gift and shine. Please just help me tell Sir 18 Book Ian, thank you so much. Thank you. We started out on a very strong foot. Like, oh my God. Sir 18 Book Ian, are you sure that this thing came as an emergency to you? Because you seem very prepared for this.
Well, you know,
It doesn't look like they just woke you up to come and tell us something. It's like you came ready for us.
the Boy Scout motto is always be prepared.
Wow, thank you so much, sir. So I would give absolutely. So I would give two women, just two. You have a question or two that you need to ask. We're starting on very strong footing, and it is important that you must be heard. We must hear you. We must hear your thoughts. We must hear your contributions. We must hear your questions. So if there's any lady that has a question, please indicate in the chat room so that we can take your questions. That's like, just give me a high five, or you give me what do they call this? Just raise your index finger in the chat room so that I can identify you and you can ask your question. And that should take like you know, like what, 10 seconds? Or we all understood what Sir 18 Book Ian taught us on. I mean, I loved the poem Womanism. Oh my God. Sir, so I need to come and sit at your feet too. All right. It seems nobody has a question, or maybe we are still booting. Some people they just put on the system now, so we are still booting. All right. To take us further
So I
into
think
today's
Grace Okokon
meeting,
says she has
we
a
have
question.
one out. I have drank from this woman's well personally. My journey to leadership has been successful because I had people like her in my life. Okay, Grace Okon, you seem to have a question. Grace Okokon, you have a question. Yes, please ask. Please ask. You have the floor. You can unmute your mic and ask. Grace Okokon.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, hear you.
Okay, thank you very much for. I know you said it was an emergency, but what you just said was really captivating. I don't think, as Living Press said, I don't think you came really prepared for us though. So my question is, in situations where it's been a problem or it's an issue. Okay, my question goes, women emerge, women, we can be more. We tell women, go for what you want and all that stuff. But in a society where when a woman aspires for more, it seems like she's too ambitious, and they label her to not, that she won't be able to keep a home because the female gender, we are, as what the Bible says, we are like helpmeets to the man. So when a woman is so ambitious, she wants to go for more, and the society labels her as um, she won't be able to keep a home because she's just being too ambitious. Yeah. So in that case, what do you advise a woman to do? How do we balance being ambitious and then also being a woman? Because a man, we feel is a man that is supposed to be that ambitious, not women like that. Just do small and then stop. Go back home, marry, take care of your family, give birth. So my question is, how should a woman balance her being ambitious and also being a woman, and not taking a role of like being a man in the society? That's my question.
All right, thank you very much. I mean, you are going to cause an eruption of fire in my heart right now. So let me take you on a very brief journey and show you certain analogies, and then we'll answer the question. So talking about the fact that society conditions the woman. That's why in the poem I wrote, I said a woman is seldom celebrated, and then she's confined to a certain place. So now, our Lord Jesus Christ, who is the epitome, who is the embodiment of leadership and enjoins us to follow him. He is our model, is our example. Something happened, and I will show you the story of the woman with the alabaster box. So, the thoughts of men relegating women to the background did not start today. So you find out that this woman that was with the alabaster box determined within her heart that, yes, I know that in our context, women have been relegated to the background. Yes, I know that in our communities, women do not have a voice. But this woman had a determination that she was going to do something that will ensure that her name is written in divine folklore forever. And then she went and grabbed the alabaster box, went into the company and congregation of men, and then went forth and then broke the box. And then Jesus said something that was key, which is the foundation that every woman can stand upon to do great things. He said, wherever this gospel will be preached, this woman's name will be mentioned. So the truth is, if God has called you to be a mighty woman, if God has called you to be a great woman, God has also prepared a man that will support that dream and that vision. So the challenge we have is because the pressure that society mounts on women makes a lot of women not to have that luxury of time to wait for that particular man that will support that woman to become. So you find out a woman like Sarah in scripture, Abraham supported her. Everything she said, Abraham did. Even the suggestions that she gave, that took him out of the path, Abraham still did what the wife said. So there are still men, contrary to what a lot of people may believe, there are still men that support their women to become whatever thing they want to become. We have the likes of Ibuku Awoshika. We have the likes of Pastor Mildred. We have the likes of Funke Adejumo. And I mean, the list goes on. So what a woman needs to do is to prayerfully and also physically look at whatever man she connects herself with. Does this man support my ministry? Does this man support my business? Does this man support my work? And if these variables are not in place, I tell you in truth, no matter how emotionally you are attached to such a person, it is high time you carry your bag and left that particular relationship, because it is going to drag you down. In the yoke of an oxen, that's why it says, do not be unequally yoked. If a particular yoke is bigger than the other one, you'll find out that the smaller yoke, the smaller oxen is going to die because the weight is unequal. But when you are brought into proximity with someone that has that equal yoke with you, both of you are going to carry the same burdens and you'll be able to succeed. So the key thing is find somebody who aligns with your vision and who is safe and confident enough to allow you to soar. So in my submission earlier, I said there are many factors: environmental, emotional, physiological, psychological, and the rest that would seek to stop the butterfly from emerging. But you need a lot of determination to break through from these stereotypes and know very well, assuredly, that God has prepared a man that will support whatever thing you want to do. It is not true that there are no men that support. They still exist. So we just have to be patient to find them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for that detailed answer. I hope, Grace, your question has been properly answered. I hope your question has been answered. And thank you, too, for that intelligent question. In a world where women consistently, seem to have opposition, facing their dreams and their desires, it seems we cannot juggle our ambitions and then have our home front in order. But I believe, like Sir Etienne has, clearly stated, that for every woman there is a man. For every woman there is a man. And wherever it is you are, the only reason you are repelling the caliber of men that come around you is because the caliber of man that you are supposed to end up with is not in this set. So keep dreaming, keep pushing, keep growing. And when you get to that place, that person that is made for that version of you in that place will find you. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready? Yes, so citing book. Oil is on your head. Thank you so much for inspiring us. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are ready for this next person, let me see it in the chat room. If you are not ready, we can end the chat and go. After all, citing book has blessed us, so I can carry that blessing. I'll be going my way. But if you are ready, we are only going on the up and up. On the up and up. That's where we're going. We're going up, up, up. Okay? I need 5 more people to tell me that they are ready. This one is giving me fire emoji. All right. Okay. So I can read her profile. Like I said earlier, right? This particular woman, can you still hear me? If you can still hear me, let me know in the chat room. If you can still hear me, let me just know. All right. I said, this particular woman, my leadership journey will not be complete without her, because she held my hand for most of my teenage years. Permit me to speak pidgin. I for don't spoil. I for don't lost. But for this phenomenal, amazing lady. So I'll just quickly read her profile and then bring her up to blow our minds away. She is a mindset strategist. She is a mental health advocate, certified leader, and speaker. PEB loves people and she is passionate about helping individuals build a magnificent mindset so they can transform their lives into a version that is amazing. She is one whose childhood was shrouded with loads of complexities, but over the years, she has been able to transform her trash to treasure and her pain to power. She has emerged dauntlessly into a stunning system of possibilities. Drawing from her personal journey, her book, Odyssey, and her unique methodologies, PEB's teachings and workshops are rich with insights and strategies for managing emotions and building mental resilience. Her approach is not just about overcoming adversity, it's about empowering individuals to navigate their emotions effectively and create fulfilling, balanced lives through mind coaching. Hence, she thrives in the area of emotional therapy, personal development, strategy creation and execution, mental health coaching, mindset calibration, and mind leadership, with a burning desire to help people rise from all forms of self limiting mindsets, emotional challenges and setbacks, fear and mediocrity to a place of absolute personal freedom and success. Additionally, she is in the sphere of personal development, particularly as it concerns shaping thinking systems and thought patterns. Hence, she bridges the gap and makes a difference through coaching and confronting the existing negative mindsets that shortchange people and hinder them from achieving maximum productivity. Ladies and gentlemen in the house, as in, she is a phenomenal woman. If you are ready, suppose you are giving away my this thing before I call up the speaker. It's not fair. Oh. If you are ready, let me see. Just put your hands together for the phenomenal Elizabeth Bassi, my very own Auntie Lizzie. Please put your hands together. Don't stop clapping until she joins us. Don't stop clapping until she joins us. Mama Lizzie, the floor is yours. We are ready for you. She's so fine.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Oh my God, my light is really low. I hope you can see me at least
Don't
a
stop
little
clapping. Mama Lizzie! Oh my God!
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
I can't hear you. I want to hear your voice.
Oh my God. Hello. Oh,
Network. Oh, away. Can we hear her? Let's just hold on till she's able to join us. Or am I the one missing something? Okay. Okay. All right. Mama, we can hear you.
Hi guys, this is Udah. So I am not supposed to be doing this right now at this moment. I'm currently at school and we are supposed to be doing something, so I had to run out to hide, right? So Mr. Timbuk Inyang has posted he has posted the poem. You can please go through the notes, the chat to see the poem. Take it with you, post it, say it to yourself, give it to your man to read before he agrees anything. Right? Thank you so much. I have to go back to the meeting. Love you guys.
hello. Hello, can you hear me now? Oh Lord.
Yes, we can hear
Hello.
you. We can hear you. Malizi, we
Oh,
can hear you.
oh my God. All right. Thank you. I don't know if it's my video that's causing the network issue, but it's been really unstable here. I've just been hearing some cracks and all of that. Well, I would try. I don't know. Maybe I'll just have to work with this for now. Okay, so you can hear me. I'm really glad. Thank you. Thank you so much, Living Praise, for the rousing welcome. It felt really warm, really. And to the convener, Sapol, it's always a pleasure to come on board to share my thoughts, especially when it has to do with an aspect I'm really passionate about. And I just want to say thank you for having me, and to every amazing lady here who have joined this event to learn a thing or two. I celebrate you so very much from the depth of my heart. And to every young man who is here to learn, I mean, you guys are the real husband material. I don't know how many yards I should give you. Maybe I'll just give you infinity yards. But I celebrate you. Thank you so much for coming on board. Okay, I'm just going to go really quickly because I have just 20 minutes to handle this session. So I'm just going to see how I can optimize the use of my time. I have just been charged, I've been charged tonight to speak on the topic of emotional intelligence. Kindly confirm you can hear me. Just anybody, just unmute yourself and tell me you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes,
I
yes, I
can
can hear
hear
you.
you
Okay,
now.
all right. So I've been charged to speak on the topic of emotional intelligence. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I just need to be getting your feedback to be sure that my network hasn't betrayed me. All right, so I am talking on emotional intelligence, and this topic is really essential because this, especially as it has to do with the leaders, the women ultimately have a lot of emotional complexities, and it's always very difficult to navigate those complexities, and that is why it's very essential. Just like Mr. Etinbook said, he laid a very good foundation. Thank you so much, sir. You laid a very good foundation. And when you were speaking, I was like, okay, that is it, that is it, that is it, that is it. I was like, that is it. And he said, he took us through the journey, the evolution journey of the lady, how we evolved from different stages of our lives, and then he related that to our emotions as well. So that is just how our evolution is as young ladies, as women. That's how our evolution is. As we become adults, a lot of things just continue to hit at us at every point of our life. So it is very necessary that we know how to navigate our emotions so that we don't become heaps of emotional wounds. We don't become at the mercy of our emotions. All right. And that's basically talking about how to build emotional capacity. It is very, very important. If you will, aside just being a lady, if you will actually achieve greater feats in your life, if you're going to achieve or scale greater heights, there's one aspect of your life you must put in check, and that aspect is your emotional life, your emotional health, your emotional wellness. All right, because when we talk about mental health, it's usually triple dimensional. So we talk about the psychological, the social, and the emotional well-being. All right, the same way the emotional health, our emotional well-being is like a triad that consists of the way you feel, the way you think, and the way you act. So everything I'm going to say is just going to embody these three aspects. All right. Now, whatever I'm going to share with you is not something that it's not Harvard standard business. It's Harvard business standard kind of chore. I mean, these are just practical things that I'm going to share. So if you want to read the Harvard standard of emotional intelligence, you can go check it up on the internet, or just, sign up for any of the courses. But this is just something that has worked for me personally, and I'm just going to share it. All right, so it's curated. All right. Yeah, so first off, building emotional capacity is your ability to overcome first of the emotional um, baggages, your limiting beliefs, and adapting to the challenges of life. Your ability to evolve, adapt to the changes that occur, that happens in your life, the changes that are your greater, knowing that we live in a world that is very dynamic. Things are changing, trends are changing, and just your ability to adapt to those changing situations, challenging situations as well, and still be emotionally guarded. That's what makes you someone of an emotional, intelligent person who has been able to build capacity. All right. And then finally, it embodies your quality of relationship. All right. The kind of quality, the kind of relationship you build is also very, very important. So on the basic thing about building emotional capacity for me is your ability to overcome the self-limiting beliefs that you place on yourself. And I love the fact that Mr. Etimboka laid a very good foundation, just like I said earlier. Now, I just want to give an analogy. If you envision a parachute, if you know a parachute, I don't know if a lot of us, at least you should know a parachute. This things most skydivers use to, I think it's kind of a game of fun. They just do. Now, the way the parachute works is that it works only when it is open, all right? Only when it is open, you have to release it into the air, and that is when it can function maximally. That is how our lives are. If you must function, if you must express, if you must reach the highest expression of yourself, you need to operate in life with an open mind. You need to take off the limitations you have put on yourself so you can be launched into the air, so you can emerge. All right, so you can evolve, so you can transcend into higher altitudes of success. So your life must be like the parachute that is open. You are open to ideas, you're open to emerging, you're open to trying new things, you're open to going past your mental thresholds, you're open to, going past your personal limitations to becoming the best version of yourself. So that is how our life, I'm just likening that to our lives. So you must be able to evaluate your mindset. What's your mindset about life? What are the self-limiting beliefs? I said that most of the most challenging thing about our building emotional capacity is this self-limitation we put on ourselves, and that is the first thing I want to address. The second thing I want to address is the subject of emotions that consist our feelings, thoughts, and actions. I want you to understand that your feelings it's not who you are. It's just something you have. It's just something that comes to you. All right. It's not a definition of who you are. It's just what you have. It just fizzles away. It's just something that comes to you. It's not a definition of. It's not your reality. It's not your personality. All right. So that having that knowledge, that understanding should be able to help you control whenever you're greeted with those negative preconceptions about yourself, negative stereotypes, negative emotions. You should be able to say, no, this is not who I am. This is not who I am. This is just a feeling. This is just coming to me, and I can go past this. This is not who I am. All right. So when you have that mindset, you'll be able to navigate your emotions appropriately so it doesn't get the best of you. Now, I curated 4 important aspects that will help you build emotional capacity. And like I said, this not Harvard standard kind of lecture. It's just personally drawn from my inspiration, from my personal life, how I was able to break free from my own emotional challenges. All right, I've been a bag of emotional ruins for the greater part of my life. So my ability to emerge from those emotional challenges and be able to become this, grounded, this so serenely self-possessed, this poised, this coordinated and controlled, is because of these principles I'm about to share with you. And the first is what I call emotional empowerment. Emotional empowerment. All right. So this is the first step to building emotional capacity. You can't talk about building emotional capacity when you are not empowered. When you're not empowered. So your emotional empowerment there has to do with the personal knowledge of yourself, the personal knowledge of your emotions, personal knowledge of who you are, your feelings, how you react, how you handle things, how how you process the feelings that comes to you, how you able to process them. All right, your emotional empowerment, you need to be empowered because just like the saying said, knowledge is power. And when you let me just say, when an awareness is brought to an emotion, power is automatically brought to your life. All right, so it's more like self-awareness. You need to be aware of yourself, aware of your emotions. You need to be aware of how you feel. Okay, I understand and how I feel per time. I understand that this emotion is just as a result of what is happening in my current situation. So I'm going to learn how to regulate it so it doesn't get the best of me. So you need to be emotionally empowered. You need to understand your emotional makeup, your emotional structuring. All right, everybody has their emotional structuring. There are people that no matter what you do to them, they know, I mean, they don't care about you. They don't even have the time to reply. They don't have the time to, like, they are so strong emotionally inside that they don't, little things don't just get into them. They are almost impregnable to all those, emotional challenges. They are almost impregnable. But there are also people that are easily enchanted, people that are easily sold out of their goodness when they are greeted with let's say little emotional challenges, like maybe somebody talks bad at you, or somebody talks down on you, or somebody maybe did something to you or something. They can almost go into clinical depression. There are people like that. They don't know how to regulate their emotion. All right, so but whatever class you are, you need to be emotionally empowered. You need to know where you stand. Are you the kind of person that is guarded? Are you the kind of person that is so self-possessed, so in control? You possess a form of calmness over your emotion, a form of control over your emotion. So that you need to be aware. All right, just like I said, that um, emotional self-awareness on your emotion when it comes to do with your emotion, self-awareness when it has to do with your emotion, it's more like bringing power into your life. It's more like taking charge of your life, because knowledge is power. And you know that whatever whatever you have knowledge of, you automatically have sovereignty, you automatically have power over that thing. All right, it is only the things that you're ignorant that has control over you. But when you have knowledge, sufficient knowledge about something, when you have sufficient knowledge about a particular matter, you have sovereignty over that thing, you have power over that thing. All right, so you can control it, you can regulate it, because you know its weaknesses, you know how to, its strengths, you know how to regulate it, you know its advantages and disadvantages. So you have sovereignty over your emotions. So the first step to building emotional capacity is emotional empowerment. The next thing that is very important to building emotional capacity is what I call, or what I term, emotional edge. All right, emotional edge, very, very important. Emotional edge here basically means, having boundaries for yourself, having boundaries for yourself. And just like a lot of us know, I mean, you know what boundaries are. Boundaries are like fences that keep up what you don't want and then protect the value you want to preserve. All right, so you know that you are vested with value, you are a treasure. You are a hidden treasure. You have a lot of gifts that God has put inside of you. There are a lot of things God has put inside of you. You know that you are blessed. You know that you are enriched on every side. And you know the value you carry. You know the value that you possess inside of you. So your ability to protect that value is what, helps you build emotional capacity. All right. So you should have some kind of boundaries for yourself, emotional boundaries, emotional edge. All right. So how far can people toil with you? How far can you toil with yourself? All right. So sometimes we are the problem of ourselves. Sometimes we are the ones who, launch ourselves into emotional crisis. But other times there are emotional crises that are, external. They come to us even when we are not ready for them. So you must have some kind of boundaries in check. Okay, how far can I go? How far can I love this person? How far can I control my heart so I don't get heartbroken? How far can I allow someone to talk to me or talk down at me or look down at me? How far can I contain, accept some things? You should have emotional boundaries, all right? And that will also help you to know the kind of conversations to engage in, know the kind of people to even hang out with, know the kind of relationship. I mean, the kind of relationship to go into, the kind of relationship to build and sustain. All right. Because for someone who is emotionally intelligent, you can't be hanging around every Tom, Dick, and Harry. You can't be thinking of becoming somebody great in life and then you're hanging out with someone that has, a riffraff, someone that has no bearing in life, someone that doesn't even know what tomorrow will look like. He has no plan and all of that. So you just put some kind of edges around yourself, put some kind of boundaries around yourself. It is very, very necessary. So you can call that emotional edge, or you can call that emotional you must be able to tell yourself, how far can I go and how far can people access me? Right? How far can people access me? How far can I tolerate certain things with people? One of the things that really put me down, one of the things that really put me down while in the formative stage of my life was because I opened my mind to accepting some kind of negative information, some kind of negative preconceptions about myself, some kind of negative statement that lingered, settled, and then built some mindsets around about my life. And then I grew up with those mindsets. Okay, it took length of years before I was able to break free from that. So you need boundaries. You need to be able to build those boundaries for yourself. You need to be able to keep yourself in check, to guard yourself. All right, because boundaries guard against devaluation. So you need to keep yourself in check. How far can people go with you? How far can people tolerate? How far can you tolerate people? How far can you allow people to mess with you? All right. So you don't say, "Oh, he broke my heart." You were the one that allowed him to break your heart. All right. So you should be able to put yourself in certain, put some edges around yourself. All right. You are valuable. You have something. There's something inside of you that needs to be protected. There's a treasure inside of you. There's something very valuable. There's something very atypical about you that needs to be protected, that needs to be guarded. So you can't be exposed to anybody. You can't be exposed to anybody, any kind of person. You can't be exposed to any kind of person. You need to be self-protective of yourself. All right. So that is one of the ways to build emotional capacity. And the next thing that is very pertinent to building emotional capacity is what I call emotional emergency exit. Emotional emergency exit. We're talking about emotional emergencies. Now, the truth about it is that we are going to be greeted with barrage of challenges, problems every single day of our lives. As ladies, just like Mr. Timbok said, you meet people that will want to rub you off. You meet people that want to rip you of the value that you possess. You meet people that want to toil with what you're carrying, want to toil with the treasure that is in you. You will meet challenges that will hit you. Sometimes you wake up in the morning, you're happy, you're excited, everything is okay, and then just in the course of the day, something just happens, or you make a mistake, or you fall into temptation, or whatever it is. You should have what I call emergency exit plan. It's more like an emotional escape plan when you are greeted with those emotions. All right. So just the way we have emergency exit routes in most well-structured organizations, houses, and I mean a lot of sophisticated buildings, it is the same way our lives should have some measure in place, that helps us escape emotional emergencies. So now these emotional emergencies can be in the form of, let's say, practices that helps you get back to fit when you are mistakenly hit unconsciously, unprepared. You're unprepared, and then you're greeted with an emotional crisis. Maybe somebody very dear to you, or somebody very dear to you just lost her life, or something just probably happened, and you are almost falling into depression. All right, how do you handle um, low those low moments of your life? You should have some things in place that will help you handle those low moments in your life. So it could be practices, maybe praying, or maybe you listen to music, or you just find some very solitary place and just meditate till you can regain yourself, or till you can draw some inspiration on what to do. Or it could be people. All right, it could be people. Yeah, I have people that even if even as a mindset strategist, even as someone who is so passionate about teaching and helping people emerge from emotional challenges, I also have people that I run to when I'm depressed. So the mistake most of us do, is that we want to handle our emotions all by ourselves. We want to deal with those. Sometimes you need people that you can talk to. You need people that you can reach out to, right? Some reliable people that you can reach out. You need to reach out. It is very important that you reach out. So this is just me preaching the gospel, reaching out to people. All right, reaching out to, I mean, not just anybody, just a few set of persons in your circle that are reliable. Because I mean, your emotional exit plan must be accessible, must be unobstructed, must be reliable. I mean, and then it must be somebody that you can always reach out to. All right. So this is a trusted person. This is a trusted person. It could be a mentor, it could be a coach, it could be a friend, it could be a brother, it could be your parents, it could be anybody. But you should have emotional exit plans, emotional escape plans when you are, maybe you're falling into depression, or something just hits you. And that's why I always do not take for granted when people reach out to me and be like, oh, this just happened, I feel bad, oh, I just did this is like, okay, it's fine. I mean, I love to just sometimes just to listen to them, because truly most people tell people their problems not because they want advice. It's just because they just want to let it out. They just want to find a way to let out that negative emotion. Because I mean, one of the ways you help yourself to build emotional capacity is your ability to let out the emotions. You don't repress your negative emotions. You have to feel it. You have to feel it and then express it, but you express in a healthy way. All right. So what having an emotional escape plan will do for you is that it will help you express those emotions that you feel per time, in a very healthy way, so it doesn't destroy you yourself. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about, because I know I'm already behind time. The last thing I'm going to talk about, and this is the most important thing I love to talk about. I may likely dwell on this for as long as possible, and that is what I call emotional emancipation. This is the final stage of building emotional capacity. Emotional emancipation. Now, when I talk about emotional emancipation, like Emotional emancipation. Let's just say emancipation just means freedom. Freedom. So it just means okay, I see that my time is on. I'm wrapping up. Sorry. So freedom from emotional traumas. It means freedom from emotional traumas, pains, hurts, wounds, every scar. Freedom from all forms of hurts that you hold inside of you. Freedom from pains of the past. Yes, I have 5 more minutes. I can see that, Living Praise. Thank you so much. Freedom from the past wounds, freedom from the past hurts, freedom from everything that has held you captive, from expressing your greatness. So many of us limit our potentials. We don't, without even realizing it. And most of the time, in fact, it takes a conscious effort to understand what's holding you, so you can, address it. You can address it. And then, on a personal example, I'll say, for years, personally, for years in my life, I battled low self-esteem, mediocrity, because of, the dysfunctional home I grew up in. I kept excusing myself from anything that tried to challenge my preconceptions, anything that tried to challenge me to become the best version of myself. I felt like I wasn't worthy. I felt like never going to amount to anything. I grew up in I don't want to go in so much because I have just 5 minutes, but this is me saying everything changed when I was in my final. Imagine from my just imagine all through the formative stage of my life up until when I was in my final year. That was when I got an emotional emancipation. So what actually changed was that I made a commitment to myself to shine my light unreservedly. And then I mustered the guts to give myself grace. I told myself, Lizzie, you can be better. Lizzie, there is more to you. Lizzie, there is more to you than what is happening to you or what's happening in your family background. There's more to you than what you're seeing, what the kind of life you're living, the kind of environment, the kind of background you're born into. I had to tell myself that there is more to me. And then I changed the limiting beliefs. I built emotional capacity. I started navigating my way to becoming all that God has created me to be. So what am I trying to say? You will need an emotional emancipation if you must build emotional capacity. You can't even build capacity to handle the pressures of life when you are not free from yourself, when you're still holding on to pains of the past, hurts from the past, things that you did in the past that hurt you, things you did in the past that you've not been able to forgive yourself of, things that people did to you that you've not been able to forgive them for. There's no way you can build emotional capacity when you are still imprisoned by those negative emotions. All right. So in the final way to building emotional capacity is that you let go of those things. You clear up the emotional dimensions of your life. You clear up the balls of your life so that you can emerge. You need to clear up those things. You need to heal. You need to forgive yourself. You need to forgive anyone that has hurt you. You need to forgive people that have been, caused any form of trauma in your life. And you understand that there is more to you. There's more. If you cannot heal, in fact, for me, I had to reach that threshold of my life, where my pastor had to sit me down and like, Lizzie, you need to forgive your father. You need to forgive your father for this thing you did. You need to do this. You need to go back to your mother. He gave me some kind of rules, he gave me some kind of things to do. And I moved on to doing those things. And by the time I did them, I was like, oh my God, like I felt so light. I felt new again. I felt alive. I felt like, oh, this like the beginning of something great, something amazing. All right. So that was like the turning point for me. That was the beginning of my evolution, because I was able to let go. I was able to break free from my own emotional imprisonment. So in a nutshell, and by way of conclusion, if you do not break free from the things that have held you bound, if you do not break free from the pains of the past, if you do not break free from the hurt of the past, there's no way you can emerge. So heal, forgive yourself, forgive whoever hurt you, forgive yourself for the things that you did that were unpleasant, forgive yourself for failing yourself, for devaluing yourself, for losing your treasures or whatever it is. Forgive yourself, and just when you do so, your emergence is going to happen. Thank you so much once again. I'm really excited and really grateful, and I hope that this session was really impactful. And I'll be here to take any questions you may have. Thank you so much once again to the convener, and God bless you.
Wow. Just wow. Please, if you enjoyed that session, let me see in the chat room. What? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Amazing, 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 amazing. Wow. Whew. Mama Lizzie, you have dropped tongues of fire in this chat room. You have dropped tongues of fire in this group. Thank you so much. Please help me tell Mama Lizzie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. One of the things that she said that really stood out to me is, okay, as there are many things she said that stood out to me. But one of the things she said that really stood out to me was make a commitment to yourself. You cannot move forward if you are not free from yourself. The things you have done in the past, the things you have done to hurt other people, the things you've done to hurt yourself, the things other people have done to hurt you, it's time to let go so that you can break free, so that you can emerge. That was amazing. My leader would say to me, living praise is not that deep. This life is not that deep. Say it in the chat room. Tell your neighbor it's not that deep. This life is not that deep. Mama Lizzie, thank you so much for reminding us that, you see, this life is not really that deep like that. It doesn't have to be so heavy that you carry it on your head. I made a mistake. Oh my God, you are like to plague you for the rest of your life. This was an amazing session. Thank you so much, ma. If you enjoyed that session, please tell her thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Who is ready to move on? Who is ready to move forward? Because we are giving you back to back. We are giving you back to back. Who is ready to move forward? I just need to see an emoji that tells me you are ready to move forward. That's right. Some people are dancing. People are dancing into the future. That's right. That's right. I need three more people. Three more people to tell me they are ready to move forward, to move into the next, to just climb higher. I need just three people to tell me. While I wait for the three people, I need to reiterate the summary of what Mama Lizzie's session was. This life is not that deep. Don't kill yourself over mistakes made in the past. Commit to becoming better. Commit to becoming better. Okay. It's fight. Oh, Imabong Dancing said, bring it on. I'm not fighting with you. I'm not fighting with you. I'm not fighting with you. Faith says she's ready to climb higher. Mary Rhymes is dancing a dance of fire. Okay. So, since we are ready, let me read the profile of our next speaker. This amazing, delectable woman is the co-host and programs director of the Human Rights Cafe, a collaborative virtual conversation of the I Read to Live initiative that seeks to equip new generation of leaders to know, protect, and promote advocacy for human rights and dignity of all persons globally. She has also been called to the Nigerian bar as a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. She is a lawyer by training with practice areas in dispute resolution, corporate and commercial law, and international law. She currently works as the investment promotion officer and legal officer of an economic development firm. She has also served as a coach to the IHL team, Faculty of Law, University of Uyo. She is a recipient of the award Gold of Honor, represented by the Faculty of Law, University of Uyo on that account. She has also co-authored various articles in reputable websites such as Opinion Nigeria, The News Times, and Nigeria Lawyer. She holds an LLB in law from the University of Uyo and other certificates in IHL, including public health and forced migration from DePaul University, Chicago. She is speaking at this conference, the Woman Emerge conference, happening right now. Trust me when I say that this is going to be a massive outpour of wisdom and practical thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are too busy, free the hand. If your hand is too busy, free the hand. Because at this juncture, I am bringing on to this call the phenomenal. If you know the person, just let me know. Just give me now. She has carried it. Favor titles, you know the help. You are not helping me. The phenomenal Joanna Titus, please put your hands together. Let me see the clap emoji. Just clap, 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 clap. Let me see. If you can hear me, please let me know so that I'm not talking to myself. Are you ready for the amazing Joanna Titus? Oh, I am so sorry. Are you ready for the amazing Joanna Titus? Please let me know. Put your hands together in the comments. All right. Ma'am Joanna, the floor is yours.
Hello, good evening.
Can you still hear me? If anybody can hear me, just let me know. If you can't hear me, please let me know. All right. Hello, Ma'am Joanna Titus. Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the call.
Thank you very much.
The floor is yours, please.
Okay, thank you.
Take over.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, excellent guests, and my dear colleagues. It's actually a pleasure to be joining you at this point. Standing on the order of existence protocol, I'm Jonah Titus, and I look forward to having an amazing session with you all this evening. Also want to thank Paul Udah and his dedicated team for putting together this program. I also want to thank the other speakers for sharing their insights with us today. And I look forward to having a rewarding time with us all. And for my own session, I'll be let's just dive quickly into each set of time, and I'll try to make sure I'll summarize as much as I can so that I'll be able to meet up with time. I hope you can all hear me. Okay, just want to confirm that everyone. So if at any point, please, that maybe there's a network glitch, please leaving phrases will just bring it to my notice so that I'll just be able to recap and so that everybody can be carried along. So for today's session, I'll be discussing your mental health. As a lawyer by profession, we actually specialize in human rights and also having a little bit of experience in corporate sector. You know, when you talk about mental health, it's something that I've come to realize that is actually a fundamental human right that can be akin to the various popular rights that we know, right to life, right to dignity of human persons. Even globally, when we talk about mental health, I know October 10th is actually celebrated as World Mental Health Day, which underscores the importance of advocating for mental health as a universal human right. So, but when we talk about mental health, I think it's something that, especially in Nigeria, that it was recent. That's during the after the COVID time, that I know that a lot of advocating, and it's something that became very popular. Though, if you want to trace the history of mental health as far back as the 19th and 20th century, when we look at psychologists like um, Sigmund Freud. These were people that were already, advocating and talking about mental health during the late 19th century. But then when the World Health Organization came, and through a particular publication that they made, it actually brought it to the forelight globally on as mental health as a human right. Though I know presently people still advocate that mental health should be considered a human right. So, but that's the whole history of when we talk about mental health. So when we say mental health, I know it's like a phrase, that has come into the internet this time, that people just talk, oh, please, my mental health, please, you're affecting my mental health. What exactly is it? So, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It, it just deals basically with how we get to think, we feel, and react to situation. It helps us determine how to handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. So mental health is important at every stage of your life, whether you're a child, you're an adolescent, you're going through puberty, you're an adult. It's actually important in the life of all. So even in as much as this is like a woman emerge conference, but when we talk about mental health, that applies to both the male and the female, the boy, the girl. It applies to everyone. So it's something that should not be taken lightly. So today I was having a discussion with a friend of mine because I was just trying to tell when I was preparing, and so we just had a discussion and we just realized that mental health, in as much as we know that sometimes I feel like the issue of mental health cannot be overflowed, because looking at our current economy, looking at the current kind of business environment that we have in the society today, it's actually very fast paced. So it's very easy for people to neglect mental health, may be to strive for excellence, to strive to make a name, because that we are in that era where young people want to make a change, they want to do something, they want to affect the life of other people, they want to, mark their name in the sands of time. It's very easy for us to just neglect the idea of mental health. So I feel it's something that cannot be overflowed. It's not overstressed. Though sometimes the older generation might feel it is because of, based on the mentality and all, but in my own personal opinion, I feel it's something that cannot be overflown. So before while we are going deeper into today's session, I would like us to for our session today, I would like us to look at maybe basic misconceptions people have about when we talk about mental health. We can also look at also factors affecting it, and we can also look for how we can cope with it, and then we'll just draw a conclusion by bringing a balance to the whole discourse of mental health. So now, when we talk about common misconceptions surrounding mental health issues, so some people feel like when you talk about mental disorder, it's a sign of weakness. So that is one prevalent misconception people have when they say, "Oh, I'm feeling somehow, I'm feeling down." They feel like, okay, you are not strong. There's this idea that, oh, you're not a strong person, that something can easily just make you feel weak. Like if someone gets to speak to you in a way that you do not like, and then maybe you take it personally, and then people feel like, you're a weak person. Not know, they might not even know that whether there are other underlying causes of why you're feeling that way. So it's actually something, it's a misconception that once you have like a mental disorder, it shows you are weak. There's also the misconception of the fact that it is rare. Just because you see people are smiling and happy, you feel everything is okay with them. You feel like there's really no issue, everybody is fine. But it's funny that I've heard of stories of people that when you see them, they will come out, they will smile with friends, they will, have fun. Then the next day you heard that they've committed suicide, and people are like, what happened? You hear of a man, a family man, that it looks like their family is happy, everybody's okay. But then before you know, you're hearing suicide story. So that shows that there is actually more to what we see physically. So for the fact that someone is, happy around you, you never can tell really what's going on through their mind. So that's why I feel like it's something that, so just because people don't get to talk about it. People feel like it's rare. People that have mental health disorder, it's rare. There are also those that feel like it's visible, that still streaming from what I just talked about, that if someone is having a mental health disorder, it's going to show on their face. But there are people that can mask it. There are people that they are going through pain. But when you see them, you will not even believe that there are certain troubles that are going through. So that is actually a misconception that I would like us to also, have in mind, that it's not true. So people feel like, okay, if you're down and you tend to seek for help, it shows that you are weak. So that is actually another misconception. That's not true. Just because you ask people for help or you want to talk about something, it doesn't necessarily mean you are weak. So that is another misconception I would like us to clear out today. But the truth is that even reaching out for support itself is even one of the first steps in treating any form of mental health disorder. There's another misconception that it affects only a certain group of people, in the sense that it's only those that come from maybe poor homes, people that are fighting poverty. That for the fact that they are poor, it's easy for them to be depressed. But you'll be surprised that even the so-called CEOs or those that have made a name for themselves, you see hear stories of them being depressed and committing suicide. That shows that it's a mental health disorder. It's not acclaimed to one social status or to a particular group of people. Anybody, even a little child, even teenagers, there are people that they are prone to actually having mental health disorder. So this is something that should now let us open our mind and let us think as far as we can think, that this mental health disorder is possible. That even people that the so-called people that we feel that have made a name for themselves, they can actually be going through mental health disorder, and you never will tell, or you will not even know, because you feel like, according to you, they have attained every level of success. So then there are also the misconception that it's a permanent thing. It's not true. There's a way it can be treated. It's something that by the time you seek help, you go through a psychologist or even a psychiatrist too. You can actually, help and treat it. So that's another misconception that I would like us to, also clear the air as we go further. So now I want to now go deeper into talking about factors that influence our mental health. So basically, there are several factors that influence mental health. We're talking from biological to psychological to social and environmental factors. So we'll just teach a bit or touch each of them as fast as we can, so that we can proceed from there. So when we talk about biological factors, it's as funny as it may sound, but there are people that actually have genetic disorders, or let's say neurochemical imbalances, that can actually play a significant role in their mental health. So these genetic factors can increase their likelihood to having mental disorders. So there's people that have variations in terms of their brain chemistry. So all these things actually can affect their mood and cognitive function. So you see there are certain people that for a minute they can just feel sad. Nothing is wrong, they just go sad. You don't know that it's actually one of it that they're having it's one of the biological factors that causes mental health disorder. So it's something that we should not downplay. There's also the psychological factor. When we talk about psychological factor, this is personal and individual coping traits. People are different. The way I react to certain situations cannot be the same way Mr. A or Mr. B will react to another situation. So these are other things. These are things that tend to affect our mental health. So people that also have your self-esteem too. These are also psychological factors. So there are people that have very high self-esteem, in the sense that they have a great understanding of who they are, their person. So it's very easy for them not to be put down. And there are those that they are still working on it, if I should put it that way. They are still working and they're trying to, cope and learn how to understand themselves better. So these are the things that affect our mental health disorder. We have the social factors. We talk about your community, the kind of people you hang around with. These are also things that affect your mental health. So let's say you have positive social communities, people that are very energetic, people that are always happy, they're always engaging in fun activities. It's a tendency for you to be happier is actually higher than someone who is always, secluded and used to, being on their own and feel like maybe they don't have much friends. You understand? Although sometimes that could be a personal decision, but these are also psychological factors that, contributes to mental health awareness and disorders in different people. Then we have environmental factors. This one could include, let's say, in terms of where you work, your living conditions, exposure to trauma or violence. These are things that affect people. So I feel like I'd like to linger a bit on these environmental factors, especially in the part of, when we talk about work-life balance. So this is actually quite personal to me because as someone that has worked in the corporate world, I have seen things, if I should put it that way. So I know when we talk about mental health, it's not as light as we think it is. We have heard of stories of people that have collapsed in their, like they were working and they were overworked and they got stressed and they collapsed basically. And anyway, life continued, work continued. The next day they will send out an opening for that job role. So it's something I want to stress, especially for the young generation that is coming up, the younger generation that is coming up. It's something that we should not just, neglect when we talk about mental health. If you ask, in fact, I feel like if you gather, like, let's say 10 young individuals that are currently working in the corporate world, maybe working for someone in business companies and offices, ask about, maybe I can assure you that at least you will find three people that are working in toxic work environments. And that one is without doubt. You will get to use this certain kind of people. So these environmental factors is something that can, affect your mental health. So when you work in an environment that you feel you are not valued, you are not appreciated, it's the tendency for you to feel disvalued. These are things that affect your mental health. And recently I was sharing a story with one of my friends because, like I said, personally, it's something that I've experienced. I know I've worked in a fast-paced environment. In a bit, like when I started, I talked about how we young persons we want to make a difference in life. In a bit to do that, a lot of persons are overstressed and overworked themselves. Then they are not able to find a balance you get while they get to work. They don't know how to, manage stress. There are people like that you think they are happy, you think they are doing well, but unfortunately they are not. So I feel like it's something that people have to sit down and regulate at this point. Like wherever you find yourself in, I see this, this idea of, especially looking at the way the economy is, that we are trying to, make money. People are looking for, by all means, I need 10 streams of income. Don't get me wrong, it's actually something that is commendable, but it should not be done at the expense of your health. Like there are people that will come and meet me, Joanna, is this place I'm paying to talk with you? No, I am not valued. I'm all like people are different, you understand? There are sometimes that maybe, especially when someone that has a personal relationship with God, maybe there's something God is trying to, prune in your life and all. Or there's also the side that way you know that, oh, more, I'm not valued. That if it looks as if this office is about to kill me. Sometimes I thought if you resign, you will not die. Another work will come. It's as simple as that. So no, I'm not advocating for laziness. I'm not advocating for complacency, but I'm just trying to stress on these environmental factors. These are things that tend to affect our mental health just because of, stress from work. You don't have time for anything. From Monday to Friday, you are doing 9 to 5. In fact, some people it's no longer 9 to 5, it's 9 to 9. Because by the time you get the time they close from work, it's something, if you're not able to find that balance, it's every high. In fact, sometimes we don't even acknowledge or even see the fact that we are overworking ourselves to the fall sick. So I just wanted to know, just sit on this fact that because these are things that actually affect our mental health, as especially as young individuals growing up and striving for life. So I just wanted to stress that part. So even things like poverty, unemployment, instability, these are things that affect your health. So let's go over to there's the cultural factor. There are certain beliefs and values that, shape people's perception of when they talk about mental health. Do you understand? There are people I know that, in the earlier times in Nigeria, when we talk about mental health or someone is having mental disorder, it's very easy for us to acclaim that, oh, there's something spiritual. It's something that can be solved by just going to see a psychologist or talking about your problem or speaking with someone can actually help you. And then people that have gone through trauma too, you understand? Trauma, violence, these are things that get to affect people. Yeah, certain people you hear of series of ladies that maybe they have been raped or something, it tends to affect them one way. And sometimes when we try to cover it and then look for a way to cover and we feel like those are the things that are not, but then these are things that affect the kind of person we are, affect how our mind and our mentality work. So it's something that we should actually, pay attention to. So there's also the part of, lack of access to
My
good
favorite is
healthcare.
chicken, some chicken wings and
there's there's the part that the lack of access to good healthcare. when we look at our Nigerian system, of course we are trying, but then there is still a lot of work to be done. So people that are not really exposed to what mental health entails, it's very easy for um for us to just feel like and just neglect it and then not take precautions of, okay, my mental health is supposed to be in order and all. So these are the factors that affect. So I know from these various factors that start from the psychological to the biological to cultural to trauma and adversity to lack of access to healthcare. You could just actually take a self reflection and just look at, okay, what exactly is actually making me feel down, feel depressed. It will come from one of these factors. You can actually take a personal evaluation and just, try to now say, okay, from now we'll start paying attention to this side of things. Then let's just go further. Still talking of mental health, let's talk about the signs and symptoms of mental health disorders. They come in different ways. There's a part of depression. When we talk about depression, that means you are always sad. There's this sadness, there's this fullness that you always feel. There's a part of you you're easily disinterested in things you don't really have. There's nothing motivating you. These are signs of depression, and depression is actually a sign of a mental health disorder. There's a part of anxiety. There's what they call panic attack or excessive worrying. So I remember then when I was in law school, a lot of persons used to have this panic attack because you're trying to read the fear of failure and all. Yes, you just see and then next thing you are panicking, you're over worrying. These are signs of mental health disorder. There's also the part of stress, physical and emotional tension, irritability. Ah, before, in fact, was it like 2 years ago that I realized that in fact stress can even lead to ulcer. So when once I went to a checkup and then I was not feeling well, and then so when the man was asking me a certain question, he was like, "You're overstressed, and because of that, it's causing you ulcer." And I was like, "Really?" So if there are certain things that if we don't know, we are not told about, we'll not even realize that these things get to affect our mental health. So it's these are certain signs and symptoms of mental health disorder. So it's something that you notice. Oh, I'm getting depressed. Oh, I'm anxious. I'm stressed. There are some people that even suffer from PTSD, but they don't even know they had a bad experience. Maybe, like, let's say they were robbed or something, and because of that, the particular time you were robbed, you tend to wake up and then you feel it's okay, not knowing that it's something like there's something wrong somewhere. So these are signs of mental health disorder that we should actually pay attention to and not just neglect by the side. Then let's go further for the sake of time. Let's talk about the coping strategies and self-care for our mental health. We can start first of all by building healthy lifestyles, exercise, nutrition, good sleep. Let us know. I don't want to downplay the need for exercise and good nutrition because the other day when I was sitting down and a particular doctor was like teaching on this aspect of nutrition, you'll be surprised of how unhealthy we is in terms of even this as this thing as exercise. I know it's something that it has been overflown, but it's actually things that are actually good. If you look at someone that is actively exercising and then someone that pays attention to their nutrition, and then there's another person that doesn't do any of this. In years to come, you will see the difference in their lifestyle. You will see the difference in how they look because this thing is it's a cumulative effort. It's not something that you just see results at once, but these things are necessary because they help calm your mind, calm your nerves. There's also the part of going for relaxation exercise, just calm your mindset and all. I'm someone that also believes in relationships, having good friends, a support network that once in a while that you can always rely on persons. Like I said, I was telling you people earlier that there was a time I know I was in a toxic work environment and and looking at the toxic work because of how toxic the work environment was, I thank God for the people that were there with me because in fact sometimes I don't know how I would have coped. Because sometimes when I sit down and think about it, it sounds like a joke. You understand? It sounds like it's something that we should not really be stopped about, or it's just by the side. Um, sorry, okay, it sounds like something that we should not really pay attention to, but it's actually important. And what helped me was the friends that I had there. It was the people that were around me, the ability to make friends, among this set of my work colleagues, and those are the things that helped me, cope with, mental health and disorders and stress. So there's also the side of seeking professional help, therapy, counseling, and medication. Okay, let's say that it's possible that um, You cannot afford therapy. You cannot afford counseling. That's why you have people to talk to. You can always reach out to persons. Oh, please, I'm having a problem with this. I'm having a problem with that, and all. And then there's also, like I will always stress, the need for self care. There's a need for self care. I saw the topics that we're going to be taught today. I saw the growth strategy. I saw part of emotional stability. See, these are things that are necessary to help you for your mental health. Like it cannot be overstressed. You understand? You have to self care. You have to put yourself first, no matter what you're doing, and that will now to bring me to a particular point I would like to stress on the fact of building resilience. So I feel like in this conference now, we're talking about women emerge conference. There's a part of it that has to build resilience. Do you understand? It actually it plays an important role in mental health. So when we talk about resilience, it's the ability to adapt and bounce back in the face of adversity, trauma, or significant stress. So it depends on how you cope with challenges, setback, and hardship. You understand? The ability to maintain a sense of optimism, hope that, okay, fine, even if things are not going the way I thought they should or the way I expected them to go, but the ability to have that resilience to, like, see, I can handle this, I can deal with this, I can navigate difficult circumstances. So, and then the ability for you to, still thrive in the midst of hardship. So this is one point I want to, like, really, like, we have to build resilience as young individuals growing up, wherever we find ourselves, corporate world, in business, entrepreneurship. In fact, if you're looking at the economy today, it's not even helping matters at all. But then, of course, we triumph over it. We are thriving over it. That's where building resilience comes. The ability to, that in the midst of it and in spite of it, we can actually, pull through, push through, and then still survive everything. So, and then when we're talking about, resilience building techniques, there's the part of positive reframing. You have to think positively. You have to be able to, think positively and know, um, okay, I just saw my reminder. I have 5 more minutes. So let me try to round up. So there's this part of, positive reframing of your mind. For me personally, I always advise reading books that help your mindset. And I'm someone that I always rely on the word of God. So there are scriptures that help build a positive mindset for you. Philippians 4:8 that talks about whatsoever is true, whatsoever is noble, whatsoever is right, whatsoever is pure, whatsoever is admirable. These are the things I should think on. I should be focused on the good things. Do you understand? There's also the scripture that talks about, when you talk about Romans 12:2, that we should be transformed by the renewal of our minds. So by the time you're able to back yourself up with scripture-based confessions and say these are things that help you to build a positive mindset. So that in terms of hardship, difficulties, you're able to stand strong. You understand? So I can also maybe give a couple those that will, want to write them down, especially for those that are Christians. There's Isaiah 26:3. There's Proverbs 4:3 that talks about guarding your heart. There is Colossians 3:2 that talks about setting our mind on things that are above. So these are scriptures that I know that helps to nurture your mind. By the time you keep on saying these things, confessing it daily, you just see yourself that you're able to thrive. That even when something is happening in the midst of hardship, at that point, your first reaction is not panic, it's not fear. Which are things that tend to affect our mental health. But then you just realize that you are calm during adversity. And then there's also the part of, cultivating a gratitude and optimistic mindset. So in everything, let's learn to be thankful. These are also things that help for us to, cope with mental health disorders. The ability to, just like in spite of everything, we maintain an optimistic view of life. That, okay, things are not working out well, but I know they will surely will. But so even as I summarize at this moment for the sake of time, I would like to stress, in as much as we have talked about the need for mental health, that it cannot be overstressed, that there is need to something that we should take seriously, even as we emerge our mental health, the ability to know how to navigate through hardship. I will also always like to give the balance side to things that, please, as we are talking about mental health and we are caring about our mental health, we should not use it as an excuse to be lazy, to an excuse to be complacent in work. So you need to turn your work on. You're like, oh, please, I'm mentally drained. I'm sorry, I can't take it. So there's that balance side of it. So I believe that wisdom is positively to direct. So in as much as we are advocating for our mental health, there's also the side of things that we should not now allow it to be a tool for us to procrastinate or for us to become lazy, or things that we're supposed to do with our time and our life, we now neglect it and be like, oh, please, I'm taking care of my mental health. So it's just the ability to be able to bring balance to whatever we are doing. So in as much as one hand, I have structures and I have things that help me, calm my nerves, calm myself. There's also the side of things that I do not allow laziness and procrastination take the better hold of me, because I'm trying to protect my mental health. So I think from this point, I would like to draw a conclusion for the sake of time, and so that we can be able to meet up and hear other speakers for tonight. So thank you very much. If you have, I don't know if there's time for questions or whatsoever, but if there's no time, you can always reach out to me personally, and then any question you have, I'm welcome to address it personally with you. So I hope the few points of mine have been able to talk about your mental health and strategies for your overall well-being. Thank you very much for having me this evening. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mama. Please. This was an amazing session. Oh my God. Can you people just say thank you to Ma'am Joanna Titus in the chat room? If you enjoyed this session, please put it down in the chat room. Say thank you. Say thank you to Mama Joanna. Thank you so much, Ma, for this wonderful session. Oh my God. Are there any questions? Does anybody have any question? Please indicate. If you have any question, please indicate. Please indicate. Mama Joanna, that was such a valuable session. That was such a valuable session. I could just round everything off into taking emotional responsibility for yourself. Taking emotional responsibility for yourself. Knowing when to draw the line. Knowing when you are not okay, not neglecting the way you feel, not turning your back on your mental health, and doing the necessary things to make sure that you are fine, and not even using it as an excuse to negate your responsibilities, the things that you're supposed to do every day to be able to initiate and facilitate productivity. That was an amazing session. If you agree with me, please say a huge thank you to Mama Joanna Titus. We are so privileged to have had you come online and teach us from the depth of your heart. All right. There are some people on this call that I cannot help but, you came here? Wow. I am shook. I'm not shocked, I'm shook. I am shook that you found the time to be here. I see that we have the presence of Otobong Jonah. Thank you for turning up. Sir Endiong Bob, thank you for showing up. It's a women's conference, but you came all the way and you listened in. Mr. Isaac Ewuda, I see you. There are some people that are still listening. They are still here. They are still listening. Mr. Ini Jimmy, my very own friend, thank you for showing up. I see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Gloria J, Mr. John Gospel, Miss Imabong Dancing. I see all of you. Thank you for joining in. Do we have any questions or should we move on? Should we move on? If we should move on, let me see an emoji, your favorite emoji. In fact, let me see the fire emoji. I want to see something that is going to make me to gyrate. If you are still with me, you can still hear me. That's right, Mr. Etimbunya. Martha Egbe, I see you. Mr. John Gospel, I see you. Mr. John Gospel, hey, hey. I even was gearing up for fire because fire is about to be unleashed. Fire is about to be unleashed in this room. Now that people are putting fire emoji, I hope you are ready and you are capable of taking the bird. That's right, that's right, that's right. Bring it on, bring it on. I need just 5 more people to let me know that we are ready to move on. That's 1 from Blessing. 4 more to go. Johnson say, I think. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm not exactly good with names like that, but I see you. Say thumbs up. Maybe carry go. But them Essien, I see you. I see you. We need 2 more people. Just 2 more people. And then we launch. Diddy Bob. Hi, I see you. All right. 1 more person. Who is this last person that is going to finally break the ice? Who is this last person? All right, Udeme Ate, you are the last person that broke this ice and we are moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle your seatbelts because it's about to get hot in this place. Like we're about to go on a roller coaster ride. Now, I remember when Mr. Etimbokian was speaking and he said, we're going to have to fight the things that are pushing against you, that's stopping you from growing. You're going to have to fight those things that do not want you to emerge, and that is when you overcome those obstacles, that adversity, that is when you finally emerge. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to put it to you that is growth. Growth is beating the obstacles and the adversity and emerging on the other side. It is a process that needs a certain degree of doggedness. It needs a certain degree of determination of I can do it, I must do it, not making excuses for yourself, putting on your big girl and big boy cap and deciding to do the work. It is digging in the mud. It is crying, wiping your eyes and getting up and doing the right thing. That is what growth is. And I can't even speak a lot about it because if I had my way, I'll still be a small girl, but adulthood has come around. So, ladies and gentlemen, the man that is about to speak to us, finally a man gets to speak to us. Who is excited about a man speaking to us? Because, and it's just any man, no. He's a strong somebody. If you are excited, just write it. I am excited. I am excited. Who is excited about a man? Finally, a man getting to speak to us. I mean, let me just put it out there. I like man. I like man. I like man. So I'm not supposed to. I like women, but if you know what I mean, I kind of have, this inclination to think that because of me, God had to make Jesus a man. Because if my savior was a woman, I feel I might have quarreled with that savior. For don't quarrel, go far. So thank God Jesus is a man. So finally, a man gets to step into this room and speak to us about growth. We finally get to see. We had a man start for us, and then we're having a man end for us. I mean, it's done. When the head of the family and the head of the family does it again, it's done. And it's a man that organized this event. Ladies, I mean, you are covered. So I'm going to read his profile immediately. I don't want to keep us here waiting for so long. I'm going to read his profile immediately. This man that is about to speak to us is a growth strategist and a digital entrepreneur. He models growth, demonstrating the limitless possibilities of an optimized life and a relentless pursuit of world-class standards. As a part of his value offering, he is immersed in the concept and dynamics of growth, teaching, and providing mentorship to help individuals and organizations cultivate a growth culture. With a wealth of experience, he has a track record of transforming individuals and clients' experiences across life, career, and business landscapes. This great man and brother, if you know who said this, let me read it in his words. Let me quote. This great man and brother has been a massive support to me and many lives in no small way. And we are having him tonight as he sparks and pushes all of us that are participating here in tonight's conference towards uncommon growth. Ladies in the house, if you know who is coming on to speak to us, who is joining this call, please put your hands together and give a warm welcome. I won't call him more, even if Favor Titus has betrayed me once again and dropped his profile, so people already know. Mr. John Gospel. Please, ladies, put your hands together for Mr. John Gospel as he takes over from me. That's right, that's right. Keep it rolling in, keep it rolling in. Give him a warm welcome. Give him a warm welcome.
All right.
Mr. John Gospel, we are ready for you.
Thank you.
I have my pen, I have my paper, I'm ready.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. I'm super excited to be here with us this evening. Interestingly, this should be my first ever Women or Ladies conference I'll be speaking at, and I'm super excited to be here because apologies, I won't be able to turn on my video for just a little reason actually, but I think you've already seen my face with the old pictures they've been sending on the group chats, right? So my name is John Gospel. I'm a proud friend of Paul Udah. Proud friend. I think I want to introduce myself that way. First of all, a very, very proud friend of Paul Udah. My life journey and his cross path at some point in the University of Uyo. I remember having a conversation then when we were waiting to go into the GST office. If you're a student of UNIO, you understand that waiting line for submitting anything GST looks like. So we had this conversation and then we brought us around purpose. And as at then we're talking about the different of the gospel we lived into. I think the point of discussion then was a room outside. And after that conversation, it was like so seed in our hearts. And years back again, we got to, get to those the people who are many opportunities as a result of the relationship with my lifelong mentor, Amari, once mentioned to me, said that relationships are like the buttons of an elevator. I'll say that again, please. I'm trusting that there will be a depth of inspiration that we provided. That supports each and every one of us to a different phase of life. So my mentor once said, relationships are like the buttons of an elevator. So the one you press determines what floor in the elevator you're going to get to. So you're pressing number 1, you get to the first floor, you press number 2, you get to the second floor. So the type of relationship you touch, you come in contact with, determines your altitude in life, the height of the elevator you're going to get to. I'll say for you that with that thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm super excited to be here. All right, so guys, so don't be nice. Okay, let's get into the detail for tonight. And like I said, it's been a privilege to kind of be part of this session. I listened to our last speaker, and I could say that we've had so much value from this session already. Thank you so much for every other speaker that's spoken before me, and I would look to put it just contribute to what they've said in just few minutes. The subject matter of growth has been the theme of my life personally. So whenever I get to speak about growth, I get into that mode that's called an avatar state. You're going to find that in some few minutes. I don't know if I've seen the latest, Netflix blockbuster, Last Airbender. So remember that avatar state that the avatar gets into, and then everything around him seems to be affected. That's what's going to happen for tonight's class, because growth has been a subject matter that's literally altered the course of my life. It has disrupted my life's journey and then made me thrive. So I'm bringing the same thing, the same experience, the same words to you tonight, and making sure there's a difference, there's a shift or a change of culture, as it were, in your minds and in your heart. So let's pay attention. Right. So it was about, I think 12, 13 or 14 years ago, right? I was, if you've heard me speak before, you must have heard this story, but I would like to tell it again. About 14, 15 years ago. So I was serving in a church, right? In a church where, I was put in the assimilation unit, the assimilation department. So what the assimilation department gets to do is that we first timers or welcome first timers try to integrate them to the church. Okay. So I was put in that particular department, right? So, and now one of those days I was asked to go. Okay, I'll back up a bit with the story. I was this kind of person that was timid, and it was a difficult thing for me to have conversations with people. Now, this is a women's conference, and I'll tell you a little funny thing about me then. It took me very long before I was able to have my first relationship. That was because I was very shy. I couldn't look at a lady in the eye and talk to her because I was very, very painfully shy, as it were. But if you meet this young man today, there's nobody I feel I cannot talk to at this point because growth has happened, okay? So I was that person. And then whenever I'm back then in church, I would always hide at the media cubicle, so I'm not going to meet new persons. It was very difficult for me to introduce myself or meet new persons, as it were, because of, the background I came from and how difficult it was for me to communicate with people. Now, there's an important result why I'm telling this story. It's going to help you. Just pay attention, okay? Pay attention. So, my pastor's wife noticed that this particular guy is too shy, that he has to come out of this cocoon of his. So she asked me to join the assimilation unit, which I have to be meeting people. So every single service day, she will give me a task of at least bringing one person to her, to introduce the person to her. And it was a difficult task. My first task, the first person I got was a guy. I kept bringing me guys. And then she said, no, you have to change or switch it up. Start bringing ladies to me. Right. That was an opportunity for her to help me, come out of that place. Right. Now, guess what happened? A day came when I was asked to go see a particular first timer who came to church, and I was supposed to meet the first timer at the person's house. And pastor just told me that, okay, Gospel, you're going to see this person at the person's house. Immediately, I started shaking. Like, how will I go to the person's house? How will I go and tell the person, how will I introduce myself and all that? And I won't forget what my pastor's daughter told me. At the time, she was 9 to 10 years old. And at the time, I was about 20-something years old. Right? She asked me a striking question. She said, Uncle Gospel, why are you shy? A 10-year-old lady was asking a 20-something-year-old guy who's double her age, why are you shy? And at that point, it made me realize that my inability to communicate was not the result of my age, because here was a younger person who has no issue with communicating with people. So she must have grown up in an environment where she has the voice to be able to talk to people. Her parents must have instilled boldness in her, so she doesn't see it as an issue or find any difficulty, as it were, to communicate, to interact with people at age 10. But here I was at age 20-something, and I had issues with one-on-one, in-person communication. What's the difference between the 10-year-old and the 20-something-year-old? She had an environment where growth was sponsored, and it made it look as though communication was a natural thing. Whereas I came from an environment that was difficult to thrive. Difficult in the sense that I didn't have that smooth sailing environment where growth was supported. So growth in communication was difficult, as it were, because of the environment. So what I want to explain or teach you tonight is how the environment affects whether or not a person grows. Paul Udah asked me to speak about growth metrics, right? So simply, by the way of definition, a matrix is a controlled environment. A matrix is just a controlled environment. So the growth metrics would be or would mean a growth environment. So if a person has to thrive, if a person has to succeed or grow into the potential or move from potential, as it were, to where they are achieving results, it has to be by finding themselves or situating themselves in a growth environment. So a growth environment is what guarantees us, the leverage to be able to come out in a particular shape. Without that environment, none of us will be able to thrive. We will not be able to disrupt ourselves, disrupt the patterns that we've grown with, so much so that we can board or develop into that result we want to see. So the reason why you're the way you are right now, I put it to you that the reason why you're the way you are now is simply because of your environment. So if you're not in a growth environment, you're going to struggle to achieve certain things that would be natural to the person that's in that environment where such things are possible. Come on, are you with me tonight? Let me know if you're with me. Response, please. If you're with me, response. I want to see the chat box bubbling if you're with me. Response, please. Response. Okay. Come on, type. You're with me. I want to see us. I need us. I need that response. I'm in my tab, looking at my phone, checking your responses. So please. Yeah, all right. Thank you. So that environment is what is going to sponsor growth, right? So the metrics, as it were, it's the growth, it's that environment that sponsors or aids your growing. So one thing you would always find within an environment is people. People are the resource, as it were, that makes up an environment. So in pivoting from talking about the environment, I want to show you how important people are to your environment. So, for instance, what was the environment that enabled this girl at age 10 to be very comfortable with communication? She had parents who trained her along the lines of communication. So it was simple, not difficult for her to be fluent or free-flowing when it comes to doing her communication skills. My impediment was as a result of growing in a background or in an environment that made it difficult for me to express myself. So the environment was constructed by people. Unfortunately, uneducated parents, so they didn't know the value of building a young man's ability to be able to communicate in today's world. But the parents of that 10-year-old girl, they understood the dynamics of what it means for a child at that level to grow in an environment where she has a voice, where she finds her voice early in life. So the reason why most of us are the way we are today is because of the environment we find ourselves now, or we found ourselves years before. So to move from where you are to where you want to be as a lady, I think there are also guys in this room right now. Okay, to make that movement, the environment has to be reconsidered, has to be evaluated, has to be, restructured to sponsor your growth needs. That's where people come in, because people are the makeup of any environment you want to think about. People are the makeup, right? So one thing you want to understand is there's nothing that would happen to you as a human being without the coalition of another individual. So people are a strategy for life. Take this down. Write this down. People are a strategy for life. People are how you move from where you are to where you should be. Now, the reason why we are here in this room tonight is because there's someone who has a vision and seem to want to make impact with that vision. That's it. An influence from a person. So people or someone is the reason why we're here today. The reason why the economy of Nigeria is the way it is today, it's forces, right, in the economy that's making it so. And those forces are human beings making decisions. So nothing will happen to you without the influence of people. So people are literally that environment that sponsors growth. And that's the direction I want to be going to tonight. Okay? Right. So I said people are a strategy. So two things happen with people. And those two things are the vital sponsors of growth. So if a person is going to grow, these two things must come in place. Number one is influence. So when you are around a certain group of people, or you find yourself in a certain environment, you are influenced to think along the direction. You're influenced to adopt certain tendencies and traits that brings a type of person out of you. Nobody is self-made. Everybody is environment-made. Everybody is influence-made. You are made as a result of influence. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you what. At some point, I grew up from a struggling background. I like talking about this because it's very important. Very, very struggling background. And I've worked my way up financially to be able to be in a better spot. It's something I celebrate a lot because it's you don't want to know what it was in the past before. Right, so this friend of mine had this 40K job monthly that he was doing, and before you know, like in 2-3 months' time, he was a journalist and he was also a writer. He got earning about 80,000 naira monthly. As at then, I was earning nothing. Okay, I didn't have a skill. If I had 5K in my account, woo, I've made it in life. But the moment I started seeing my friend making 40K, 80K monthly, there's something started happening to my mind that if it happens to Lawrence, it can happen to me now. So you could see how that people can provide a certain level of influence and push that pushes you from one level to another. So when I started saying that about my friend, my interest stayed up. I started taking the same courses he was taking. I started asking the same question, and he started putting me through. Before you know, I started advancing in that regard, and I started making money, right, from my skill set and all that. But it wasn't so much. At a particular point, I started seeing about, you know what dollar rate is today, about $300 monthly. And then before you know again, my friend now said that, this guy is doing better than me now. Oh, he's not even anymore. Because at some point I had a job and then I collaborated with him. And then we splitted the cash together. The reward was about 100 and something K. Then we're enjoying the money together as good friends. And at some point, again, he also broke even. And then one time, he started earning about 700 and something K weekly. Not monthly, weekly. And then I was like, Jesus, so this is possible. So you see what's happening. The environment of influence, I was seeing what was possible in Lawrence's life. And I said, this is also possible in my life too. So you see how people as an environment can shift you from one level to another. So one joke with people are a strategy for advancement. People are a strategy for advancement. You don't want to joke with that. Okay, so two things happens in the environment. Number one, first thing that happens is that you're being influenced. Once that influence begins to rub off on you, you're turning into a different person. Right? Second thing that happens within an environment is that of imitation. Now, some people make it look as though imitation is wrong, but for the fact, I'm one person who believes in imitation a lot. Now, it's not like copying people hook, line, and sinker. Okay, so for instance, Paula is organizing an event for women, and then if the event is successful and we had a lot of value, there's nothing wrong with going to copy his strategy about how the event went. So if I don't know how to hold events, I can just say, okay, sir, what did you do? What did you not do to make sure this event happened? And then the moment he tells me that, I take that and apply to my own, and then I'll have the same results. That's called imitation, right? It's just copying strategies from people who have succeeded before you. So one of the ways to shorten your growth distance, or the distance between where you are today and where you should be tomorrow, is that you want to imitate a lot. I tell you for your fact, you should imitate a lot. It's not copycats. Imitation is different from copying people. Imitation actually is looking for strategies or proven strategies in the life of the people you admire that works, and you're taking the same and applying it to your life. What you will now realize is that you begin to stay within touching distance of that particular place you want to be tomorrow. That's how fast it can be. So people, like I said again, remember, don't forget, people are a strategy. And what comprises of an environment is people. So you want to make sure you're around the right people. Does this make sense to us now? Come on, tell me if it makes sense. Tell me. And give it to me, guys, and give it to me if it makes sense. Okay, so I have less than 10 minutes to wrap this up. Okay? And I'm going to say that. So let's see the thing about environment is that growth thrives in conducive surroundings. This is from John C. Maxwell. You read the book 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. When he talked about the laws of an environment, he says the law of the environment states that growth thrives in conducive surroundings. So if you're not in a conducive surrounding and a surrounding that sponsors growth, you would find it difficult to make certain advancement and adjustments in your personal life. Right? So what is a growth environment? A growth environment will be inspiring. An environment that inspires you to be more, right? An environment that inspires you to be more. An environment that inspires you to be better than you currently are. An environment that's challenging and highly motivating, right? That's a growth environment. And what you find in that environment, it's people. People are the ones that will provide that challenge. People are the ones that will provide that motivation. People are the ones that will provide that push. So there are three categories of people you want to have in your environment. Number one is mentors, right? For one, I'm a product of mentorship, right? Mentorship is a game changer. It's a process of wisdom transfer within a relationship. It's the transference of wisdom from someone who thinks or operates in a higher clan or a higher caliber to someone else who's lower. For instance, now as I'm talking to you guys now, I'm sounding very interesting. I'm sounding inspirational. But guess what? If I'm talking to my mentor like this, I won't sound any. There will be no inspiration, right? Because what I'm saying, he's already at that plane. He's already at a plane that's higher than my own frequency. So instead, what I do at that moment is that I listen. Sometimes sometime last year or last month, I went to my mentor and then I was telling him about the things I was doing and all that. And he started critiquing some of them, correcting some of them. But if I talk to my team members, I always sound brilliant. But when I talk to my mentor, I sound as though I don't know what I'm doing. The reason is because he reasons from a different plane. So when I tap into that level of reasoning, my operations, my wisdom level becomes better, faster. So one of the things you find in a growth environment is that you want to have mentors. Mentorship is how you can is the proven or the most legal shortcut ever to arrive at destiny fulfillment. I'll say that again. Mentorship is the most legal platform to arrive at destiny fulfillment. Every other one will belong, right? Every other one will belong. Every other one will belong. Come on, is someone catching fire tonight? I want to disrupt your mindset, right, and help you thrive. Okay, very important. Next thing you find within the environment is your colleagues. Who are your colleagues? For instance, I consider someone like Udah a colleague, right? So when I see him do events, he inspires me. It inspires me. When I check the track record he has built in a place like Uyu before he traveled to where he's currently at, I am awed. I'm like, hi, if my person can do this, I can do the same. Right? So in growth environment, you want to find people who are like colleagues, who you feel they are the same frequency as you. When they move, you're moving alongside. Their movement encourages your movement. When you have discussions, ideas will thrive, ideas will fly. Those are ways to stir up yourself to get into that next plane of life. Currently, a friend of mine, a very, very dear brother, is hosting a very big event in Uyo. And I keep telling that, sir, when I look at your event, I'm inspired. I'm seeing what will be possible for my next event. I'm copying your template. I told him, sir, I'm really looking at your templates. If it works, and as it works, I'm going to adopt the same. He just smile. What happens in that environment? You're scared. You're not in competition. No. That's for low minds. People who have low minds are the ones that compete. No, competition is not a thought. You shouldn't be thinking about that. But in that environment with your colleagues, you find stirrings. And then lastly, in the environment, you should be able to have people you're teaching, mentees, right? Those who you're talking to, who you're imparting the same knowledge. Those people would stir up the hunger to keep feeding, so you have enough resources to pass on to them. Yeah, to stir up your hunger. Now, in the next 5 minutes I'll try to wrap this up in the next 5 minutes. Right? There's a second set of people, right? Or some category of people you want to consider when you think of the environment. It's your close circle. And this is quite different, your close circle. Now, Vin Jiang said something that's incredible. He says, you are the direct reflection of the top 5 people you spend time with. Look at your life. Every one of you right now. Take or go down memory lane. Look at your life. For the past 1 year, you are the direct reflection of the top 5 people you spent time with in the past 1 year. Nothing less, nothing more. You are the direct reflection of the top 5 persons you spent time with in the past 1 year. So if there are 5 millionaires in the room, and you are also in that room, it means you are the 6th millionaire. What that means is that in that environment, in that close circle, you begin to tap into what's possible. Life works on the principle of influence. I believe so much in the principle of influence. All you just need to advance your life is to tap into a relationship with someone who already has your reality. You would be amazed how fast you also get into their reality as well. So you can craft who you want to become in the future by choosing who you spend time with today. I'm already crafting out who I want to become in the future because I spent time with Paul Udah, right? I spent time with him. So I know that my future is better in the area of leadership because I spent time with such an individual. So you have to build your top 5. Whether professionally or personally, build your top 5 today. Who are the top 5 persons you want to consistently relate with that will get you to that particular point you want to get to in life and in destiny? Lastly, and I'm going to end here in the next 3 minutes, another environment you want to consider is the media space. The media space also comprises of people, but these people are much more like influence to your mind. The influence they provide is subtle. It's very, very subtle, but it's not is not something you should ignore. It's something you should pay very good attention to, because the media space is such an influence on your mind. And remember, what we are looking at is the growth metrics. And I told you that the metrics is primarily an environment. So what this discourse is about is the environment where growth thrives. And I tell you, growth thrives in an environment of people, because people actually make up the environment. Two things happens when you come into a growth environment. Number one is that influence is there. Secondly, you begin to imitate what you want to really become in life. Right? Come on. So you begin to imitate. Next thing that happens within an environment is imitation. Right? And I've told us that what forms the environment is people. And the law of the environment says that, growth will only thrive in an atmosphere that's conducive. So you want to make sure you're in an inspiring environment. So the last thing I would like to share with us is how that the media space is a very prime source or primary source. Now, so this is by the way of statistics, right? The typical user spends about 2.5 hours per day on social media. That's about 864 hours a year of scrolling through apps, an equivalent of 36 days or a little over a month. So you spend about 36 days or a little over a month in a year scrolling through social media. So the media space subtly and slowly influences your beliefs, your perspectives, and your values. Your beliefs are the things that dictate your actions. So if the media space is influencing your beliefs, your thoughts. So for instance, if you think you don't have a value system, you already have a value system. Because what creates or forms your value system are the things you interact with consistently. So when you go on social media, you see someone like, I don't want to call you rubbish names now. Okay, someone like Daniel Rega, those guys that will talk rubbish on Twitter, and you feed on their content, you start thinking like them. That's why you see some women start advocating for some stupid things that are not really important in life, right? But if you're a sane, I believe there are believers in this room now, you're a sane believer, you understand certain concepts, you only feed from the media sources that aid your clear thinking. So one of the things you want to do when you go to your social media pages is that you want to prime your social media page. Prime it in such a way that only accommodates the things that will drive your life forward. For me, if I give you my Instagram right now to check my Instagram page, what you keep seeing is the likes of Don Simmons will pop up, Voices them there will pop up, Vinjian will pop up. You keep seeing videos from TG Jakes, all of these guys, because those are the people I follow. Because I follow them, I'll keep seeing their content. Now, there's no day I go on social media or Facebook that I don't see a video from someone like Apostle Joseph Selman, because I listen to him, I listen to his content, right? So because I've primed my media consumption around the things that look like my value offerings, I'm being influenced in a type of way. Don't forget, what brings or makes you who you will be tomorrow is the environment you're creating today. So you want to reconsider your environment avatar. What is it about? Who are the persons in your environment? What kind of environment have you formed around yourself? Who are your top 5? Who do you relate with consistently? What information do you consume? There are a lot of things I can talk about growth, as it were. There are a lot of details I can reel out to you concerning this subject matter. But because of time, I'm going to focus on this subject I've been looking at for the past 25 minutes right now, and my time is already up. Right, but I want to leave you with this thought. Growth is the only guarantee that what you're experiencing today, right, will be different from what you experience tomorrow. So the reason why you're where you are, you're who you are right now, is because of your commitment to personal growth or the lack thereof. So seest thou a man who's committed to personal growth, he will stand before kings and not even men. I'm rephrasing that scripture in Proverbs. Seest thou a man who's committed to personal growth, right? You would focus on personal growth. Them have trusted. So would that become my testimony yet still? Because I live a life that's perpetually I right right you A person can grow themselves into a place that's significant. You can grow from mediocrity to significance just because you're paying attention to personal growth. Like my dear followers, or my dear friends, friends of this particular conference or event, I want to thank you so much for listening to me. And I am not out of words, but I'm out of time actually. So I'll just draw it close. And thank you so much for having me tonight. My name remains John Gospel, and if you have questions for me, I'm still available to take that. Thank you so much, guys, and that's my time for tonight. Thank you.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Mr. John Gospel. Wow, that was phenomenal. Who agrees with me? Please let me see it in the comments. Seest thou a man that is committed to personal growth? He will stand before kings and not before mean men. Wow, wow, wow. Ladies in the house, please, can I see if the fire has fired you? Can I see that the fire has fired you? Wow, I am so fired up. So fired up. I am inspired. There are people in your life that you must have. These people must be there. Mentors, colleagues, and mentees. People you take from, people you share with, and people you give to. Wow. Phenomenal. Mr. John Gospel, thank you so much. We are so grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, who has a question? So you cannot. It's not possible to have heard all these things from the beginning to the end. I now have a question. No, it's not as if it's an exam that we say, oh, do you understand? You say yes, you understand. Then we now give you question paper. You now see that you did not really understand like that. Please, if we have questions, please indicate. If you have a question, please indicate. Of course, the phenomenal Grace, please shoot. Ask your question. We are here to listen. The
Okay,
floor
good
is
evening.
yours.
Please, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much, John Gospel, for that explosive session. So my question goes, as the theme of the conference, it says women image, and as ladies, now, as a lady who is not opportuned to be in a growth environment, to be influenced by maybe colleagues and mentors, yeah, and also now I want to grow. I've crafted who I want to be. I know the kind of people I should be around with, yes, but now my environment is not looking like it. Like, I understand the social media part of priming your social media, but then physical environment now, I have no, I don't really have people around me that I can imitate and people that can influence me. But then the people that I know that can maybe influence or I can imitate, for they're far away from me. Like, they're not close to me. So how do I, what are the things I can do?
Okay, I don't know if I should go ahead and answer that because I feel I get the question she's asking. I feel I get the question to an extent, although her mic was breaking at some point. So it's simple. Now, this is something a lot of persons don't realize. And I realized this later on in life, having grown to a point where I get to mentor other people, right? So I always talk about my lifelong mentor. His name is Christian Zael. He's a pastor. The pastor's a church in Port Harcourt. He was the one who formed my life's journey, the particular point where I'm at now. And one of the things I noticed is that I believe a lot of persons here, if you're here as a result of Udah, one of your virtues or your background will be something around church, or you believe in spirituality. So I'll go by that way. God doesn't leave us without resources to help to advance our lives. One of the things that happens to us is that we fail to recognize people, because mentors or people who advance your life, they don't come in the format or fashion that you think they will come in most times. Now, currently, I'm not saying this as a result of pride, but I'm helping you guys see something. My earning capacity currently, if I'm honest, is more than the persons that mentor me. Now, the reason I'm bringing this is to show you an example. But what it took me to get to where I am, right, was their wisdom. What determines how far we go in life? Sometimes there are elements that are based on what we do, and then there are other elements that's based on the help of a supernatural force, right? But what happens is that when people come into our life, they begin to set us on course to get to a certain level in life. Most times we do not recognize them because we think they are supposed to come in certain forms and fashion. As at the time I met my mentor, the person that helped me a lot to gain certain levels of advancement, he wasn't like the person that looked like it. But I saw certain character traits I had to pick up early. I saw certain lifestyles that he had that I had to learn. I was the one that went to meet him and said, "Sir, please, my life is in your hand. Help me and mentor me." Right? He kept dodging back because I knew exactly what I was looking for. He didn't have the money he has now then. But what I'm trying to say is that most times the people who mentor you, people who help you, they are like they come in a disguise form or a disguise manner. For instance, right now, if somebody who's in this room follows Paul Udah, is sure that your life will be better in the future. Now, he might not look like, he might not have the $100 billion in his account to give you, right? But there are certain cultures or values that mentors have that will stretch your boundaries, right? And most times, when you see these persons from afar, you should get close to them. Now, that's the side. The second side of it is that you should be hungry to locate them. See, when your desires goes up, right, you will find supporting cast for your desire. You find the result or answers for your desires. So if you're interested in disrupting your current self or thriving, you must be hungry or find people who are doing the same things you want to do. So for instance, let's say it's in the area of finances, or it's in the area of communication, or it's in the area of leadership. Look for someone who does that thing you're looking for extremely well. Attach yourself to them. If they are not within your immediate environment, go and find them. Go and look for them. They must be somewhere. You can't say that there's none. They must be somewhere. Go and look for them. Your life, your advancement in life depends on that level of influence. At this stage, I tell you, every time I go to find my mentor, look for him. You need to see the way I fold myself and listen to him, because I know that it's not in man to lead and direct himself. You cannot succeed. It's not a cause. You cannot succeed without certain influences. It's a lie. Your mind doesn't hold that capacity to thrive alone. Influence is very important to how far a person can go. So if you find an environment, for instance, now part of the things that stretches my mind. So I'll wrap this up right here. Part of the things that stretches my mind to grow is the environment of a place like my church. It stretches my mind because you see every other person pushing for relevance or pushing for success. You want to dive into the same too. So if you find yourself in an environment that doesn't support that, change it. If it's a physical environment, if you can rent another apartment, that you will see that type of people that are succeeding like you want to do it. If it's changing the kind of friends you interact with, do it. If it's changing, I don't want to say your local church now, you can do it. But whatever it is, or whatever places that you know that what you're looking for tries in that place, you want to bring yourself there. Because if you stay where you are, you remember where you are. So first thing, recognize that you need hunger. Second, recognize that the people that will mentor you might not be so far. They're within touching distance of you. They're not so far from you. So when you see them, recognize them for the character sake, right? For the traits, not really for the fruits of, or not really for the successes they've achieved, but primarily that unseen ingredients that forms you the kind of person you can become. I hope that's enough. Thank you.
Wow. I hope your question has been answered. Ma'am Grace, thank you so much, Mr. John Gospel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Your mentor will not all of your mentors will look like they have that thing you are looking for. You are looking, they should be wearing the suits and they should be looking like, they should wear tie, wear suits, wear shoe. I promise you, if you have a mentor like me, it's bathroom slippers all the way. I don't look like I can mentor anybody. Jesus Christ needed parents on earth. He had never been a human being before he was born. But he was God himself. But he needed parents on earth. And look at the parents that God gave him. Mary was not some kind of cosmic, she didn't have any knowledge of the cosmic frequencies of the world to say, oh, sit down, I want to teach you how to save the world. She didn't exactly teach him how to save the world or anything, because it was already written into his destiny, but she taught him what it was to be a human being that had character, that lived on earth, that understood a fellow human being. So she taught him the things he needed to survive on earth, because if it was the things that he needed to fulfill his destiny, he already had it. But to grow in wisdom and in stature and in favor, he needed to learn it from somebody. Even Jesus Christ had mentor in the person of his parents, even if, he was the savior of the world. So we all need mentors, and sometimes our mentors may not exactly come in the manner that we expect them to. They may not exactly look like the thing we expect them to look like, but we should be discerning to look into their character, look into their culture, look into their behavioral patterns, to make sure that we are able to exhume from them the things that are necessary for our own personal development. And we should be humble enough to submit to them. Mr. John Gospel, thank you for releasing fire tonight. In fact, thank you to all our speakers. Can I see appreciation go on in the chat box or in the chat room? Tell all our speakers thank you. Thank you so much to the amazing Sir Etimbuk Yang. Thank you so much to the phenomenal Elizabeth Bassi. Thank you so much to the amazing and delectable Joanna Titus. And now, thank you so much. Thank you to the phenomenal and amazing John Gospel. We've had an amazing time tonight. We have learned so much. If you've learned so much, put it in the comments. Tell me that you have learned so much. Let me know that today was not a waste, that this night was not a waste. You could have been in bed sleeping. I could have been in bed sleeping. But we took out time to be here, to gain value, to learn at the feet of these people that have poured into their own lives and are willing and ready to pour into ours. Today has been phenomenal. Today has been amazing. I wouldn't have missed the day for anything. You have learned so much, Martha Egbe. Of course you have. Funny so. I see you, Grace Okokon. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for having questions to ask. Thank you to Miss Blessing, and I think Miss Blessing and Udeme Ate, I think, for consistently putting down the points in the chat room, especially for those who had network issues. Wow, we have finally come to the end of today's conference, today's part of the entire conference. And I don't even know what tomorrow is going to feel like. I don't even know what tomorrow is going to look like. But if today was like this, what do you think tomorrow is going to be like? You don't want to come late. You don't want to be here alone. So, from the table of Sir Paul Udah, of the Paul Udah Leadership Firm, please make sure to come out tomorrow and send this link. If you learned something today, send this link to your friends, to your mentees, to your enemies. Yes, send it to your enemies so that maybe it will be a good way for people to develop friendship. That's if you don't have enemies. But send it to your friends, send it to your colleagues, send it to your mentees, send it to everybody in your contact list. You do not deserve to listen to this alone. It will not be, you need somebody to listen to this, to be a part of this with you. You need to have a friend share this with you. So there's been so much value given out tonight, and there will be so much value given out tomorrow. And thank you so much for staying till this time. Yes. There will be an explosion tomorrow. 7 p.m. Nigerian time is the time. Don't do African time. We now say Nigerian time now. Some people will now go and do Kenyan time. So that's if you're in Kenya, do Kenyan time. It will meet up with our Nigerian time. But if you're in Nigeria, you go and do Kenyan time, you have missed. You have missed. So please, let's come up by 7 p.m. tomorrow. Send the flyer and the links to your friends, to your contacts, to your colleagues, to your enemies, to your besties, and make sure that you are not here alone tomorrow. Sir Paul Udah sends his love, sends his regards. He's thanking you for staying the course and, pouring into your own life. Do not forget, all of this will go to waste if after hearing these things you do not apply it. Make sure that beginning tonight you resolve that everything you have learned you are going to apply. Having said that, have a beautiful night. Rest well, sleep well. And I know I did not introduce myself at the beginning of this event, but my name is Living Praise Atang. I am many things to many people on different occasions. And I am glad that for the time and the duration of this conference, I get to be your lady MC. Have a nice night. Have a blessed night's rest. Good night. I love you. Bye. You can leave the call now. Bye.